putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. There is a USC professor who's under arrest. Welcome to the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. Yep, he's under arrest, and for reasons that I say he, it's a she. She's under arrest, and I'm not even surprised by this. You've heard of this disorder called Munchausen by proxy, where people, and I don't know if it's typically women, but it seems like every time I've seen it, it's been women. But women, for example, would have Munchausen by proxy. They kill their babies, and because it gets some sympathy, and because people are like, you know, like you have a baby, and then the baby's crying, all that, and everybody's sympathizing with the baby, and you go, no, I don't want you sympathizing with the baby, so you kill the baby, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, she lost her baby, and so they're like all upset, and so she, you know, soaking it in, they're like, oh my gosh, anything we can do for you? Because in that tragedy, people, the goodness of people come out. So it's like you're training. This woman gets a crazy idea that the more I kill, the more people love it. So I saw this one story, no lie. This lady killed, I want to say 6 or 8 kids. It was a crazy number. And it got to the point, like after the 4th one, they thought, wow, she's just the most unlucky mother, because they thought it was SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. No, this crazy lunatic was killing her own childrens. Killing them. And it was like one of the biggest cases. And I think it was one of the cases where they called, you know, they finally said, okay, she's got Munchausen's by proxy. And I guess Munchausen's is when you seek adoration and you do things to yourself, like you're always sick or you're ill or you fake like you've got cancer. By proxy means you do it through somebody else, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong about that, you know, correct us. Send us a note to KJRadio.com or call the show, 844-551-8255. But I saw this story and went, a mother killing her own children to garner sympathy. Who does this? People do it. And then it made me think about it in terms of, well, what do we see? We look at Hillary Clinton, who says, I took shrapnel fire when I was landing the jet in Bosnia, and they're going, no, you didn't. Sinbad's like, she ain't take those. What? I was on the same plane. She ain't take no shrapnel fire. What you talking about? If they shot at her, they shot the rest of us. We were all drinking and having a good time, telling jokes. Sinbad was like, that didn't happen. Hillary, well, I don't know what his recollection was. Well, we have video here, Hillary. And so they show Hillary and Chelsea getting off the plane, going down the line, shaking hands of troops and meeting with little kids, and no gunfire, nobody panicked to hit the ground. And so they go, well, what about this? Well, what you're seeing there, that was sort of after the thing, you know, they've gotten their rebels under control. It was so funny. It was so funny to watch her as they're showing her. They're showing her, you're lying. You are blatantly lying through your teeth, woman. And she's like, well, you know, it's a misunderstanding because what you weren't there. Then that's when people get indignant. Yeah, what you talking about? I mean, what you trying to get all up in? Were you there? You were not there. Were you not? No, you were not there. And therefore, if you were not there, how could you possibly know what has happened? Well, we do have the video of the people. Yeah, but still, what about you? And I see these insane arguments that are done by the left once they're found out. What about Brian Williams? Brian Williams bringing you the news. Yes, we were on that plane and we had to divert around because they were taking fire. We were taking fire. We were lucky to land that bird, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this guy is literally creating a fiction, lie on top of lie on top of lie. Why? Because it wasn't enough that he's making a fat paycheck. It wasn't enough that he's seen every single night and people looked at him as, you know, a believable guy. He's got that believable guy face, doesn't he? He ruined it for everybody. all the believable guy faces, people that were vending those went, man, shoot. We got to send back the inventory. All these journalists, they were kind of patterning themselves after Brian Williams. Because Brian Williams patterned himself after Peter Jennings and not Brit Hume, and others, but people like that. That style that we got used to, going back to the days of Cronkite. And so Brian Williams appeared to be that guy. Believable. Then they start looking at all his lies. And that reminds me of the dude who was writing a story for some leftist magazine, and he's making up stories. Making them up to the point that he got so good at it, they weren't even checking his sources. Does that sound like anything CNN? I'm just checking. They didn't even check his sources. New York Times. He's writing for a major publication. And they're just going, hey, if he said it, it must be good. Then they go back and look and they find out that the majority of his work is made up. Narratives that they want. That's the left. You make up the narrative that we want and we'll let you slide. You can get away with it. Example, folks, after example of lying, lecherous, fake news building, fake narrative promoting leftists who don't care what the consequences are. And see, this is the thing. I don't want you to tell me what I want to hear. I don't know how you feel. It's like in my business. I run this business. I tell people, they're like, well, Kevin, this is looking really good here. And I go, look, this report doesn't have to rain sunshine. You need to tell me what are our dangers, what are our pitfalls. We call them SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths, I probably already know. Weaknesses, I want to know. Opportunities, for sure. Threats, yes. So, when you do an analysis of these things, you'd be crazy not to want to know the truth. But anyway, leftists, they don't. They want to hide it. And worse than that, they want to build themselves up. Brian Williams couldn't help but to become bigger than the story. Hillary Clinton wants to be bigger than the president. She got her butt kicked, and she won't go away because we haven't put her butt in prison. But she wants to feel that she's bigger than the president. And she was willing to tell you lies on top of lies to make it happen. It took an act of God to keep her from being president. Hillary Clinton told you that she deleted emails because they had yoga and some personal things between her and her husband, who, by the way, says he doesn't use email, and she was doing Chelsea's wedding. That's it. That's why I didn't want you to know that I was hiding a server in my bathroom basement and not using the State Department server. Deleted 33,000 emails. But here's what it is. And then when she finally gets caught, she doesn't admit it. She just says, well, I probably didn't use the right judgment in doing that. She can't tell you the truth. It is an impossibility for her to truly tell you what's on her mind, because she knows that if you knew she thought like you, where she says, I believe that black folks are committing too much crime and getting away with it. I believe that the racism in this country is coming from Democrats. I believe that we should close our borders and respect our laws. I believe that we should not be letting refugees in. She will never admit to you what she really believes. Anyway, what I want to tell you about is this professor. False shooter claims. University of Southern California professor told students there was a shooting on campus on Monday, prompting frantic students to call 911 before she got arrested. They won't identify the professor. They say she was going through some sort of episode shortly after noon when she urged students to take cover because of an active shooter. Now, here's what the gist of this story. There's a crazy professor at the University of Southern California who's alerting students that there's a shooter when there isn't one, in a time when these kids are probably pretty geared up over the Las Vegas. But the school doesn't want to tell you who it is because it could ruin the professor's reputation. Yeah. It doesn't matter that your kids are scared crapless or that the next active shooter thing they may disregard. No, they want to protect the professor. Just like the left protected Hillary Clinton, how NBC protected Brian Williams, and I could go on. They protect their liars and their scandalous scallywags at your expense. This woman's crazy and needs to be removed.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.